Good afternoon. We are now at the end of day 2 of our online matchmaking event. And as yesterday, I would like to give you a brief summary of some of the highlights we had today. So in the morning, first of all, maybe a few figures. Since yesterday, we have increased participation rate from roughly 180 to about 200 participants, which is great. We hope to continue in that direction, of course. And also, we had more than doubled the number of meetings taking place in our online matchmaking facility, going from a bit over 20 to almost 50 today, which is also super great. Then in the morning, as yesterday, we had a quick welcome session in which I was today accompanied by my fellow colleague Luana Bidashka from DG Move. And she was specifically giving an insight on urban mobility perspectives and urban mobility policy, a more detailed overview. And that also revealed, of course, that there's a whole lot of instruments and support actions from the EU for urban sustainable mobility, since that is also one of the main areas in which COVID-19 had the most dramatic effects so far. That led us then directly into the subsequent discussion panel, and that discussion panel was chaired by our Action Cluster Chair, Mr. Lutz Häuser from Urban Institute. So Lutz chaired this and moderated this channel, giving insights in both his role as an industry representative, but also as a representative of our community. And in that panel, we again had a very lively and interesting discussion. I just want to give you 3 main points, 3 main takeaways from that panel. Well, first of all, that's the most evident one. COVID-19 forced cities into a much steeper learning curve when it comes to urban transport, mobility solutions, and so on, not least due to the social distancing, which had a rather dramatic impact on public transport. So that's one of the takeaways. The second takeaway is, and that's a nice one, that among all the different tools and instruments, we also have, of course, the European Investment Bank, which was joining the panel. And the EIB invited participants to really get in touch to explore what can be done in terms of financing smart mobility solutions in cities for urban transport and mobility. And that's specifically nice. And of course, we are more than happy to help stakeholders with getting in touch, or on top of that, exploring maybe other financing streams which might be more easy to obtain or more easy to follow. Third and not least in this takeaway selection is hydrogen. Hydrogen has been confirmed as a very important alternative fuel in both energy mixes for stationary energy appliances, but also, and maybe even more, for mobility and transport. So that will continue to be on our agendas also for the next month and years, and will certainly also be part of the Green Deal delivery in the end. After the panel, we had then 3, if I may say so, very interesting insights from EIP-SCC urban mobility initiatives. We started with new mobility services. Then we had some insights from the Intelligent Mobility for the Energy Transition initiative. And then, last but not least, we had very interesting insights into an area which is not yet fully explored, and that is urban air mobility, or shorter, drones. Now, what are the takeaways from these 3 interesting interventions? First of all, there seems to be a new focus on cycling and walking, which is good, because that's by nature a very low carbon mode of transportation. So that has been worked out or taken away as one of the main highlights and main points from that intervention, and that's quite interesting and good. Second thing is that urban space will become more sparse, and therefore we need to use urban space more intelligently, more smartly. And in that context, parking was mentioned to be used in a symbiotic system. So parking space is one of these urban spaces which can be used more intelligently in future transport flow models. Last but not least, and that is then pointing a bit towards tomorrow when we have our ICT day, there is a need for more intelligent, more integrated urban visualization systems, AI systems, to help with planning, controlling, managing traffic flows, energy flows, storage of energy, and so on, specifically in the context of mobility and transport. Then, last but not least, as I said, the Urban Air Mobility Initiative told us about two very interesting use cases in Toulouse as well as in Hamburg. And the main takeaway from that is that though some might think this is still future music, there's a huge potential for market uptake by urban air mobility, specifically for drones, since they are going to fill gaps which will otherwise not be addressed by other modes of transportation or logistics or mobility. And that, for example, in the area of medical urgent deliveries or anything like that. So with that, I think I am at the end of my quick summary, and I would thank you again for being with us, for joining this online event. And as we see, we have a steadily growing participation rate, so I'm quite looking forward to tomorrow when we hopefully have even more participants than today. So with this, have a wonderful evening and hopefully see you tomorrow. Take care and goodbye.